Welcome back to the Division 2. In this video I want to talk to you about a 15 post thread that Yannick has posted on Twitter. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. This was posted on October 14th, and Yannick says there's been a lot of conversation about state of the game in the past and more recently, so let me pull the curtain a bit to explain why we decided to put it on ice for a while. This is going to be a long thread. So number 2, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes with state of the game. I know it probably often seems improvised, and while there's always a degree of improvisation, there's a significant amount of preparation work behind every show. Number 3, we have an editorial strategy that maps out the main topics of each state of the game over a certain period of time. The streaming setup needs to be in place and ready, the assets need to be prepared in the right format and stored at the right place. Number 4, some of the information needs to be gathered in advance. Stats, for example, can take days to be put together. There's the preparation of the guests if they are not already experienced. We do a dry run for each show to make sure everyone is familiar with the content. Number 5, everything needs to be put in a run of show that will be shared with our communication and marketing partners for validation. Sometimes it takes several iterations before we reach an agreement, etc, etc. Number 6, the bottom line is that it takes more than a couple of devs spontaneously grabbing their webcam and chatting about anything. All of it takes time and people who can invest a major part of their working hours into championing this. Number 7, then state of the game is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's great when we have many things to talk about, but when we hit a quiet period, it becomes harder to produce a weekly show with meaningful content. That word really frustrates me when it's related to the Division 2. But we all have opinions on whether or not those empty state of the games are valuable. Then number 8, when we created state of the game, our intention was to have a regular rendezvous between devs and the community. No matter if we would have news or not, we would be here to chat and answer questions. We don't only show up to build hype, we're also here during the hard times. Number 9, but no matter how much we tell ourselves it's important, at a human level, it's never easy to come to a show knowing you're going to frustrate part of the audience. I totally disagree with that. And the reason I'm butting into this one and mentioning this is because you can't please everyone. Any line of work in the world, it has to become easy, especially having experience over a course of years. You should know that you can't please everyone, and you're going to frustrate at least one person in the audience, regardless of you perfecting it or not. But number 9 carries on to say, sure, chat only represents a portion of the viewers, but we still come out of those questioning ourselves. Number 10, what keeps us going is knowing that there will be light at the end of the tunnel and that soon we will come with good and exciting news. Number 11, when we announced new content would come, we knew it'd be months until we had anything meaningful to share. The idea of keeping state of the game going for months without being able to shed any light on the new content didn't sit right and seemed disrespectful to the community. Number 12, people would show up at every state of the game wondering, is this the one? Only to be disappointed time and time again, week after week. Part of this is actually contradicting. And moving on to number 13, in the same time, Hamish moved on to another role. He was a major architect behind State of the Game, and his contribution goes way beyond just hosting it. Johan also decided to move on, and he was the one taking care of the content. Number 14, it just wasn't realistic to carry on, and it seemed like a good place to stop for a while, regroup and look to the future. I do regret that we couldn't make one final send-off show. And then number 15, so here we are months later. Will State of the Game come back when we resume communication? I don't know. I hope it will, I still believe in it. We'll need the people with the drive and time to dedicate to it, and so far we haven't found them, but I've always been an optimist. So with that, a couple of devs could easily reach out or ask some content creators to reach out and ask players for feedback about the game. Then they could put together a little show, even if it's not weekly, and even if it's not done officially, just to keep the community in the loop as to what bugs are going around, if there are fixes planned or if the fixes are even possible at this time. They are incredibly short-staffed. You have to remember Massive Entertainment are currently working on 2 games, being Star Wars and Avatar. We were also all told that the new content would come earliest the end of 2021, and we've still heard nothing. We're in October, towards the end of October. The season's events do wrap up at the end of November, even though the season currently says it has weeks and weeks after the events end. I have been told that Yannick said they added so many weeks onto the end because they don't have set dates for anything, so it gives them that extra bit of time. And in the thread, Yannick mentions some of the State of the Game cast moving on to different roles now, and we know there aren't that many people working on the game at all anymore, seeing as Ubisoft Bucharest have come in to help with the new content. According to the Division timeline, Heartland is supposed to come before the new content for the Division 2, yet we've not heard anything at all about Heartland, pretty much since it was announced. I know they had the test and everything, but that was supposed to stay strictly under NDA. Yannick mentions in thread part 11 that keeping State of the Game going with nothing meaningful to share didn't sit right and seemed disrespectful to the community, yet they made the timeline and haven't shared anything about it. And also mentioning Yannick not wanting to do a State of the Game without having anything meaningful to share, we've already been told there's a new game mode coming and a new season, so I don't understand the not wanting to frustrate the community. They've already done that part. A lot of people are expecting a new season, new game mode, new content, all that sort of stuff, and we haven't heard anything. In thread part 12, Yannick mentions people showing up to State of the Game every week wondering, is this the one? But that's what everyone did during the show anyway. There are also people asking Yannick to confirm that the new content is coming, and there are replies from Yannick, but if the content was cancelled and people weren't to know from Ubisoft, like Ubisoft gave orders not to tell anyone, then Yannick wouldn't be able to talk about it, wouldn't be allowed to share that news. Or not necessarily able to share that news, wouldn't necessarily be able to share it. In my personal opinion, I just don't think they have the staff to do a State of the Game. Hamish has moved on and he was pretty much, he was the host. He pretty much did all of the introductions, it was basically presented by Hamish, and Hamish doesn't work on State of the Game stuff anymore. Not even State of the Game, just the Division 2 in general. So the new content being announced anytime soon doesn't seem to be likely at all. However, knowing Massive and the Division 2, they've always been pretty much radio silent until the last minute, so we don't know for certain. However, will State of the Game return? In my opinion, almost definitely not. But what we're going to do is wrap the video up there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.